This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you already know this, but we get to talk about it anyways. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Monday, July the 13th of 2026, and we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. And we are coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big.
Oh, yes, hanging out with our friends and colleagues at Radio Big, doing all kinds of fun stuff. So I will tell you, we are just a very, 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 very short time away from getting started here with our reality check. Or excuse me, I said reality check, reality shift event going on here in Orlando. I mean, when I say we are just a little bit away, it's like when I'm done with our numero uno, we will be doing the run. So there you go. Yeah, I know some people thought that I was crazy by doing this, but it's okay. We are here hanging out. I hope you are having a lovely Monday as everything is going. A lot of stuff going on, of course, in the multiverse of ours. Definitely as I was taking a look around and looking down the gamut this morning. No doubt about that. So how was your weekend? Did you have a good time? We did some lovely running around with some of the people that were from out of town this weekend, hanging out here in Orlando. It did kind of rain quite a bit here yesterday in this area, but let's not get too confused on what the hell we're trying to get into. So let's start talking right away. Let's talk about what our show consists of here. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's kind of what we do. Not a big deal, but we talk about that just to kind of make sure that we get everything rolling, and everything going. So if you're good with that, cool. Thank you if you've been here before. Thank you if this is your first time here. We're going to talk about safety in the news and safety. That's just really how it goes. If you want to interact with the show, you can go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, and text messaging are the options of what you have available. And once you go there, you do a little pick. Once you pick, boom, I get a prompt over here on the screen. It lets me know that you are trying to get incomunicado with me. And so we kind of get the communication going, and then we roll. So that's it. That is the whole kit and caboodle of what we do. Oh, yeah, and I do give you a level of a main story at some particular portion throughout this show. So if you're good with all of that stuff, I'm good with all of it, and then we just get rolling. I will bring in my friends from Feature Story News because they will just kind of tell us everything that's going on inside of the level of the multiverse. And then I just kind of sit back for a moment and go, yeah, that works. That does the trick. So if you're good with this, I am definitely good with it as well. So why don't we go ahead and get moving right now, and we'll bring in our friends from Feature Story News. They'll tell us what the hell is going on. And then we just kind of go from that aspect and go, yeah, that is the whole kit and caboodle. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the news right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Stuart Smith. The southern shipping route through the Strait of Hormuz remains open despite Iran declaring the waterway closed, according to the Joint Maritime Information Centre, though the threat level has been raised to severe with warnings of mines in the water. Traceable shipping crossings through the strait have effectively ground to a halt since last Tuesday, with cargo destined for the Gulf accumulating at ports across Asia and Europe. Washington and Tehran are sending contradictory signals about whether the waterway is safe to navigate. Fiona Mee, our reporter in Dubai, says insurance companies and shipping firms are struggling to justify continued operations through the strait.
Shipping companies and insurers in the Gulf are deeply concerned here, and that's the concern that has intensified rather than eased over the last 4 months. The nature of the risks have shifted rapidly from a geopolitical standoff to a situation involving direct military action affecting both infrastructure and commercial shipping. And for insurers, this means reassessing war risk premiums. Realistically, it's very difficult for ships here to be covered by insurance.
The United States Central Command has launched fresh strikes on Iranian military sites near the Strait of Hormuz, as Washington presses Tehran to guarantee safe passage for commercial shipping through the waterway. The escalation comes as the US political landscape shifts following the death of Senator Lindsey Graham, a prominent foreign policy hawk who advocated for military action against Iran and strong ties with European allies. Jagruti Dave has the story from Washington.
In many ways, Lindsey Graham and his philosophy served as a bridge between Trump and NATO. He was also a staunch supporter of Israel and was a foreign policy hawk advocating for military action in Iran. So his passing really removes that very strong voice advocating for strong US relationships with European allies and a voice that advocated for military action and strong sanctions against Iran.
A huge fire in a Bangkok bar late on Sunday night killed at least 27 people and injured dozens more. Bangkok's governor visited the scene and claimed the fire spread quickly through the flammable interior decorations on the bar's ceiling. Laura Westbrook reports.
Firefighters were called to the scene just after midnight on Monday and discovered patrons fleeing through the front door of the venue, which was engulfed with flames. Eyewitnesses say the fire started near the bar's stage and spread quickly. Firefighters were reportedly able to bring the flames under control in about half an hour. Officials told reporters that the fire spread, reaching up to the ceiling, and that smoke was likely the main cause of death. A number of victims were found near a fire exit, and authorities believe there may have been obstructions blocking it. The cause is still under investigation.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking today and tomorrow at the arrival of the Bayeux Tapestry in London. It is back on UK soil for the first time in a millennium. It's an embroidered cloth, 230 feet long, about 20 inches high, that is usually on permanent display in Bayeux in Normandy. It depicts 58 separate scenes of events that led up to the Norman conquest in 1066. The tapestry itself dates from not long after the Battle of Hastings and is believed to have been made in England and presented as a gift to William the Conqueror. Lord Peter Ricketts is the UK government's special envoy overseeing the loan of the tapestry by the British Museum.
One of the reasons it's been possible to bring it now is because of the Channel Tunnel, which means it can come on dry land. So the issue was to design a very high-tech container to minimize the vibrations, to keep the climate absolutely the same all the way, and then to drive it in one journey from Bayeux down to Calais on the shuttle out at Folkestone and up to the museum. And having planned it very carefully, having kept the timing and date quite discreet because we didn't want it to be disturbed or disrupted in any way, it arrived pretty much on schedule in its container.
Tomorrow, why he thinks so many people are so excited about seeing the tapestry when it goes on temporary display at the British Museum in September. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, the US has completed more attacks against Iran after it fired on commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has reciprocated against American military bases in the region. Dozens of people have been killed in a fire that spread through a bar in Bangkok, Thailand, with over 60 people being treated in hospital. And scientists estimate Britain's unprecedented June heatwave killed 440 people a day during its 3-day peak. That's the latest feature story news. Stuart Smith reporting.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp-speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so there you go. Currently 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday. So let's get moving right away with a lot of things going on over the weekend. No doubt about that. So things to talk about, things that were kind of out of the norm, but we're definitely going to get into a little bit of everything here as we are talking. So let's start talking right away about some things that were happening, some news that was going on, because that is where we kind of go. So take a listen to this real quick. A Washington man is being called a hero after jumping out of bed without stopping to get dressed to fight a fire that threatened his home and his neighbors. Wesley Howard, asleep when his fiance woke him up just after midnight because the fence between the two properties were on fire. Howard immediately grabbed a hose and started battling the flames completely naked, saying that wasn't time to worry about clothes when the two homes and two families were at risk. After a few minutes, he ran inside, threw on a pair of shorts, and he continued fighting the fire for about 10 more minutes until the firefighters arrived. The Navy veteran suffered minor burns on his feet and forearms, but thanks to his quick action, both homes were saved. The neighbors got a fire show and a floor show all at the same time is what it sounds like. So take a listen to this.
You obviously were very brave, but Wesley, I got to ask, you couldn't grab a robe or something first?
When every second counts, man, you just got to make the decision and go for it, and then they have time to second guess it.
I turn around, I'm like, wait, did he just oh, okay, no pants.
You really had no fear.
I did 8 years in the Navy back in the early 2000s, and I went through a lot of training. We did a lot of fire training.
Heidi, what do you think about so many people seeing your fiance here fight a fire in his birthday suit?
Well, it's been a wild week. The whole community is just having a blast with it.
Are you going to make him sleep in boxer shorts from now on or something?
We have a trunk at the bottom of the stairs, under the window. I contemplated putting an emergency stash in there.
Oh, there you go. So listen, the guy was able to save the homes. That's great. 10 minutes in. I mean, you got a 10-minute peep show, but think about all the other stuff that he did at the same time too. And, from what I've heard, because I've never been involved with this, so let's not lie here. Just think about the military training. It really came into the whole factor here in how difficult it is and some of the weird nuances that might happen during the actual military training itself. It definitely paid off on that one if you kind of really start thinking about that for a moment.
Duh.
So there you go. Some interesting things, no doubt about that as we are hanging out. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's just kind of what we do around here. We talk a little bit about this, we talk a little bit about that, but we definitely get moving and grooving. No doubt about that as the world continues to move forward. Okay, so with that being said, let's talk about this one. Some news going on over here in regards of the Senator Lindsey Graham passing away this weekend. Take a listen to this. Senator Lindsey Graham has died at the age of 71 following what his office described as a brief and sudden illness. According to reports, emergency crews responded to a cardiac arrest at his Washington, D.C. home on Saturday evening. President Trump paid a tribute, calling him a true American patriot and saying that he would be greatly missed. World leaders also honored the South Carolina Republican, including Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, both of whom praised his unwavering support for their countries. Graham's death just came days after returning from Ukraine, where he met with President Zelensky and discussed additional sanctions aimed at countries purchasing Russian energy. There had been no public indication that he was experiencing health problems before the trip. First elected to the U.S. Senate in 2002 after serving in the House of Representatives, Graham became one of the Senate's leading voices of national security and foreign policy. A longtime advocate for strong military, he was known for his support of Israel backing Ukraine in its war against Russia and taking a hard line against Iran. Although he was outspoken critic of Donald Trump during the 2016 presidential campaign, the two later became close political allies, with Graham serving as a trusted advisor on foreign policy. Before entering Congress, Graham served as the Air Force lawyer and later became Air Force Reserve, retiring from the rank of colonel in 2015. He never married and is survived by his sister and another member of his family. Officials have released a preliminary cause of death, saying that he died from aortic dissection caused by atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. According to the statement, Graham's office, the finding came as the District of Columbia medical examiner following the initial examination. Officials noted that the death certificate will remain pending until the toxicology and microscopic testing are complete, at which point the final cause of the matter of death will be official. So here's Tim Scott remembering Lindsey Graham.
America's lost a true statesman. We don't have many left, but he was a true statesman. But I've lost a friend. It is a morning of mourning for me. It's a powerful reminder that life is fleeting, that we are not here very long. If I were to tell stories about Lindsey Graham, one of the most important stories about Lindsey Graham is that when I was a new senator, he welcomed me in. He knew that my path was different. He understood the power of change in South Carolina and how much our state had changed. But he was one of the first folks in the Senate to welcome me in with open arms. And I will say that I do a South Carolina prayer breakfast every year in D.C. And I called Lindsey the first time, and Lindsey says, "Tim, if this thing starts before 10 a.m., I'm not coming, because I'm not going even if Jesus comes back before 10 a.m. And I just laughed out loud. And, of course, it started at 8:30. And who walked in the door at 8:31? Lindsey Graham. He was just the kind of committed person that you don't really appreciate how committed he was to America. I can't think, Jake, of a more committed public servant to this country. His family was his sister that he adopted when he was 19 and she was 13 because their parents died within 15 months, and America. He spent every single day, every weekend going somewhere trying to make America a safer country. And I'll say this, Jake, because of the pain of his past, his father dying of a massive heart attack at, I think it was 69 years old, his mother dying of cancer, Lindsey Graham had a passion for so many of the important issues around cancer research and around taking care of people. He didn't want anyone to feel invisible in his presence. And he used levity and wit to help people go through really hard times. And I got to tell you, it's just a devastating loss for our state of South Carolina and, frankly, for me as an individual.
Okay, so there you go. Remembering Lindsey Graham there for a moment. It's just kind of interesting on how quick things change. I mean, let's just not lie here in regards about what happened sometimes. So that was definitely Tim Scott giving some conversation in regards of what's going on. So let's continue talking a little bit for just a moment. Yesterday on CNN, President Trump talked about Senator Lindsey Graham's passing. Take a listen to this.
What are your thoughts about Lindsey Graham this morning?
Well, it's devastating. I thought he was fine. He called me last night. He just got back from Ukraine, and he had a great trip. He was telling me about the trip. He was pushing very, very hard. You probably know he wanted to do the Save America Act. That he was talking about that. He was full of vim and vigor. He was tired. He said, "I'm tired," because it's a long trip. But other than that, he was fine. And he called me, I guess, just moments before, because he called me like at 6:30 or something, and the medical people got there a little bit later, right after that. What a terrible loss it is. He's a great politician. He was a natural. There are very few of them. He was a natural politician. Got along with everybody. When he didn't, he was very tough. He was a tough cookie too, but he got along with everybody.
There you go. There's the president talking about Lindsey Graham. So, man, what a weird time it is sometimes when it comes to some of these things. So let's start talking about some other things going on inside of the world of the multiverse. So over the weekend, there was this big event going on with the UFC. Of course, this was a follow-up to the event right after what occurred, I guess, last month at the White House. So this was a return of Conor McGregor. I think he hasn't fought in about 5 years. The long-awaited return to the UFC ended almost as soon as it began. Fighting for the first time in 5 years and after recovering from a broken leg, McGregor appeared to re-enter that same leg moments into the opening round against Max Holloway while throwing a spinning roundhouse kick on Saturday, which is also known as a switch kick. McGregor struggled to put the weight on the injured leg for the remainder of the round, prompting the referee to stop the match. Take a listen to the announcers talk about Conor's leg injury.
Oh, there's a nerve slip.
What's going on with his leg?
Holloway's looking at the referee because he feels as though McGregor maybe is injured. Mike Beltran says keep working. Oh, man.
It's so weird that he just keeps falling every time like that.
Yeah, not good.
Every time he throws.
Like there's something wrong with his leg. And that's that leg. It's the leg that he broke.
Oh, and now look, that's going to do it.
Oh, my goodness.
What is going on?
About as anticlimactic an end as there could be. McGregor's injured. There's some injury he's dealing with.
But why do it looks like his right leg.
Is it his ACL or something?
Okay, so there you go. That was how the match ended up. As you can hear, definitely the crowd was not extremely happy about that. But also, I mean, an injury is an injury. There's really no control over some of the things that are going on during that time frame. Let's not lie about any of that. So as we are talking, let's continue talking about some other thing. Mitch McConnell, let's kind of give you some update on that because that's kind of been going around. Senator Mitch McConnell has shared his first detailed update on his health after being away from the Senate for about a month. The 84-year-old Kentucky Republican said that he was briefly unconscious after a fall at his home on June the 14th and taken to the hospital for an extensive testing. McConnell said that the doctors determined that he did not suffer a concussion, did not suffer a concussion, broken ribs, heart attack, stroke, tumor, or brain hemorrhage. However, he did develop pneumonia during the hospital stay, which was successfully treated with antibiotics. He has since been transferred to the rehab center where he is undergoing physical therapy to regain his strength. The longtime senator said that his lifelong mobility challenges caused by surviving childhood polio and have become more difficult with age and contributed to several falls this year. Although he has not yet been cleared to return to the Senate, to the floor for votes, McConnell said that he continued working with his staff and staying in a regular contact with Senate leaders on legislation, government funding, and political issues. He said that the plan is to finish the remainder of his term, which ends in January of 2027, and return to Washington as soon as his doctors allow. So there you go. That's the info and the update of what's going on there. What do you think? Of course, there's been conspiracy theories galore on what's happening. I don't know what's true. I don't know what's a lie or what the hell's going on. Because that's just kind of how it goes. So what do you think about the whole thing? It's definitely some interesting times.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
So I got a question. Are you a big iPhone user? Are you kind of inside of the Apple vortex of things that are going on? Because if you are, some things are about to get pretty interesting here, depending on how you use some of their items, especially if you use their items and they might have ChatGPT on it. And let me explain why. Take a listen to this. Apple has filed a federal lawsuit against OpenAI, accusing the AI company of stealing trade secrets and confidential information to help develop its own consumer hardware. The lawsuit, filed in Northern California, claims that OpenAI recruited Apple employees and encouraged them to share confidential information during interviews. Apple specifically alleges that OpenAI hardware chief Tang Tan, a former Apple executive, asked job candidates to bring actual Apple components to interviews for a show and tell session. Another former Apple employee, Chang Liu, is accused of taking an Apple laptop before joining OpenAI. Apple also claims that OpenAI coached departing employees on how to avoid Apple security measures and improperly use the proprietary metal finishing process that Apple says it developed for future products. So what do you think here? Do you really think that there was a lot of trade secret things going on right there? Now, keep in mind here for just a brief moment, as you're looking through some of this stuff or listening to some of this stuff, OpenAI does oversee ChatGPT. They are allegedly working on some hardware development, not really ever specified what it is, with one of the former designers from Apple. So this becomes more and more interesting as we are looking into it. So what do you think here? Are they trying to mimic some of the stuff that Apple already had, or is this something just kind of brand new of what they're doing, and it may be there's some misinformation there? I have no idea. I definitely do not have a dog in this race, that's for sure. So what do you think here? Interesting times for sure.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about this real quick. A bizarre TikTok trend in Russia has people intentionally damaging their iPhones to make them look old and beat up. Participants are scratching, smashing, and denting backs of the expensive smartphones after a viral post suggested that worn-out iPhones look more manly than brand new ones. The trend reportedly grew after social media posts joked that cracked older iPhones was a sign of toughness. Some users have even taken the joke to the extreme, damaging their own devices for views and likes. Experts warn the stunt can permanently damage the phones, eliminate their water resistance, and even create a safety hazard if the battery is punctured. Now, I don't know about you. I have never sat around and said, oh, yes, my iPhone needs to look manly. It's just kind of a weird thing. Nothing says confidence like destroying a $1,200 phone. And that's one way to lower your trade-in value. And somewhere Apple Care has just made a sigh. If your masculinity depends on cracked glass, you might have a bigger problem. And congratulations, your iPhone now looks like it survived a 3-bar fight. So, I mean, I'm definitely thinking that's what you're looking for.
Duh.
That's one of those very weird things as we are talking.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about this one real quick, because this was pretty interesting as well. Serial Guinness World Record holder David Rush has added another title to the collection of completing a marathon while wearing 125 t-shirts. Rush finished the YMCA famous Idaho Potato Marathon in Idaho for 5 hours, 54 minutes, and 50 seconds, beating the 6-hour time limit required for the record by just 5 minutes. He previously set the record for wearing the most t-shirts during a half marathon and spent months training for a full marathon in an attempt to running the extra weight and multiple layers of clothes. During the race, Rush nearly had to stop after overheating and running out of ice. A member of the support team was able to get emergency ice from a nearby golf course, allowing him to finish the marathon. After crossing the finish line, Rush had removed 125 shirts. Was a painful experience, is what he said, leaving him with severe chafing and marks carrying about I guess he marks that he was carrying about 43 extra pounds. World Records was officially recognized his achievement, surpassing previous records of 100 shirts. So there you go. Anyways, let's go ahead and move into our main story as we're already running behind. What a shock. we're running below expectations or above expectations. Who the hell knows anymore?
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So let's get into this because there is definitely some time to have some conversations here in regards of some things that are going on. Now, I'm going to talk to you just for a brief moment of time in regards to some of the weird stuff that we do and some of the interesting stuff that we do, because I guess it's kind of a combination of both as we are talking. So let's do this for a moment. I want you to think about this. Just think about for a moment the experiences that you've had inside of your workplace related to safety. Not anything else, not operations, not the employees, not the way that people have made you feel, not how the team members have made you feel, not how upper management have made you feel. I want you to think about these other aspects of safety itself inside of the organization. And let's kind of backtrack. Let me kind of pull that back for a moment and let me remove the word inside of the organizations.
Duh.
Let's just talk about your safety experiences. Now, think about this for just a brief moment. If you're in this lovely industry that we call safety, because, for some reason, that's how the industry gets called for some people, I want you to think about this for a moment. The first time you heard about any of this, what was the major component of it? Now, if you still are hanging out and take a listen to some of the shows that Jill James does, the Accidental Safety Pro, or what I think that's what it is, the active that she talks about people getting into safety by accident. And how she has encountered that in a lot of the interviews that she does. Now, I bring this up because was it by accident that you got into this? And I'm not talking about the little clever wording that people use about, oh yeah, it happened by accident, ha ha ha, because there was an accident, because that's not what I'm talking about. I'm referencing for a moment, was it by accident how you fell into it? Did you get kind of assigned to something that wasn't supposed to happen? Your career was on a different trajectory, but you kind of got moved into it. Because let's kind of play that in. That happened to a good chunk of people. There's also this other perspective that people go, we didn't like how things were going on inside of the work organization, so we took deeper dives into the organization of what exactly was going on. What exactly needed to change? We looked around and said, hey, this makes sense as we're doing this. But also at the same time, too, they said, let's move this around for a moment and let's change it up and change this up entirely on what needs to happen. Not a problem. These things occur. But also the weirdness that happens sometimes is that we have to take a look around at this and go, because of some of the strangeness that has occurred, what happened next inside of the organization? So where did you normally start off? Did you start off in something that you looked at and said, this makes sense when we started it? Or have you kind of looked through the whole aspect here and things continue to change until you got into where you're at right now? Because that's always the thing. We need to look at what has taken the different components to make it into your organization or to how your thought process, better saying, is with some of the safety stuff. And that's where we kind of are at today. We look around and we go, what technically makes the most logical sense to how you look at this whole thing? Because I will tell you, when I first got involved on quote unquote safety, I had no idea what I was looking at. And I will say I was an operations guy. And I looked, and there was a major catastrophe that occurred at one of the places that I worked at. And I didn't know how to handle it, which caused me to look into this more and more. And my versionality of what I thought safety components looked like back then to what my versionality on how I see it now, I go, what the hell was I thinking back then? And that's what I want to bring up today. I want you to think about how your mind might have changed, even if you were the quote-unquote accidental safety pro, to quote-unquote the person that got assigned into doing this, to quote-unquote to maybe you were the person that was looking into it. Now, keep in mind here for a moment as well, there was not a lot of, we will say, safety certifications, or even, maybe I shouldn't say safety certifications. Maybe I should say safety degrees when a lot of us got into the industry. Now, I'm an old dude, or at least that's what I'm supposed to say. I'm an old dude now. And I look and go, when I was looking for courses per se, there was not a lot of shit available. There were certification classes. Now, I chuckle at certifications sometimes because there are certifications that take a lot of work to get, and then there's the certification that you get for going to a 3-day training. I have a hard time with that. So, let me get back to this for a moment. The components that have created the version of safety that you look into now, what do they consist of? And are they the same thing that they were on day one? Now, if day one was yesterday or previous week or 3 weeks ago or a month ago, I get it. But if you've been using these same components years over years over years, have they ever evolved? Have they ever looked different than what you expected? Or do you look at this and go, I'm not changing anything because this is what's worked into this point, and I think that these are the components of the things that I need to do. Not saying it's good, not saying it's bad. I say it's much different.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from J. Allen, Ph.D. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal. Safety Transmission, The Collapse of the Construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by J. Allen, Ph.D. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
You are listening to a renowned safety expert, Dr. Jay Allen, on Safety FM. Changing safety cultures, one broadcast and one podcast at a time. Join the fun on social media and find us on Facebook at Safety FM.
The universe is way too big to have one God who made it. And even if he did, would you really want to meet him? Would you trust a God who's smart enough to build the planets? 'Cause I'm smart enough to know there's a snake in the apple, and the smartest people here, they know it's a fake world. Fake world. You thought you were escaping a fake.
Okay, here we go. 45 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging out on this lovely Monday.
It's like I'm stuck inside a video game and it's on repeat.
Okay, so there you go. This is a simulated world.
It's like I just fell asleep.
Song's not really available anywhere, to be honest with you. It's an in-house. It's an in-houser. So there you go. This is simulated world. I think there's like 3 versions of this.
It's not as bad as it seems.
I know. I get so stuck on songs. It's not even funny.
You're just in another dream. When you finally wake up.
So there you go. There you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world right there. So let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's just kind of what we do around here. No doubt about that. So mark this down, because this will be the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime. And that's about my friends at To Write Love on Our Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And we want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. And click on there on the far right-hand side on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, there's going to be information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few things that are actually listed there. I will tell you, I found this organization many, many moons ago. I want to go as far back as 2008, if my brain is serving me correctly here. I was at a Switchfoot concert, matter of fact. I want to say it was 2008 for sure, but we'll leave that for a different day. And you look at it, and the stuff that this organization's been doing has been really trying to help people find ways to get assistance, to get help. And if you go to their website, TWLOHA.com, you will be amazed on the amount of information just in regards of stories, events, things that are going on, how to get involved, self-care, and even the store aspect. And just in regards of the things that they have available, because you'd be always kind of amazed on what messaging with shirts can actually happen from time to time. So there you go. TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. Gonna tell you, go there, take a look around, can definitely change things for you. So here we go. Currently 48 minutes past the top of the hour. I'm going to talk about this, even though tickets are closed down, but I want to tell you about this because I think it's so interesting still. Today we're doing an event, and I have to let you know, we're calling it Reality Shifts, and that's kind of the interesting part here. And what it is, it's a symposium to talk about how to look at the systems differently. What will be going on? Well, it's today, July the 13th, happening at Olympus Cinema Grill here in Orlando. We're going to have Todd Conklin there talking about human and organizational performance. I will have Nick Weatherly there as well, talking about behavior-based science or behavior-based safety, depending on how you want to look at it. And then I will be there talking about Signal. Now, that's the interesting part. We'll also watch the level of a documentary at some particular portion inside of this thing. And then we'll move on from there. Now, it's going to be interesting because that's just kind of the way that it is. So TW nothing. SafetyFM.io if you want to look at more information. I have been told, I thought we closed tickets, but I guess I'm being told otherwise. There will be tickets available at the door, which I don't think that's true, but that's what I've been told. We won't turn anybody away. Maybe that's the better way to do it. We've kind of always had that set up in all of the events that we do. We don't turn people away at the door, even though we've had a few of them that were sold out. I'm not even sure how we packed some of them, more people inside of the room. So anyways, that's going on today here in a little over an hour or so. We'll be doing that. So with that being said, I do have John Smalls waiting in the wing, and I would love for him to come in to tell you a little bit about what the hell's going on with the Motivation Minute. So if you're good with this, I am good with this. Here's some John Smalls coming your way.
The Motivation Minute.
Courtesy of Jay'sCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Dave. Sandra Day O'Connor said, "Do the best you can in every task, no matter how unimportant it may seem at the time. No one learns more about a problem than the person at the bottom." I love this advice. I've done this my whole life, or at least I sure think I have anyway. I spend time working on stupid little details that most people won't even notice. We did a big event a few weeks ago, and my wife pointed out that most of the stuff I brought along was probably not needed. I actually agreed about some of it, and we let those things go. After a few years of wondering myself, actually. Sometimes the little things do make a big difference, though. I feel like the details can make or break the success of an event. When setting up an event, I'll spend more time on a backdrop than some people spend on the whole show, but it's because I want it to look a certain way, and it just works.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
A sweeping bipartisan housing bill became law at midnight Saturday after President Trump declined to sign it in protest over a stalled voter identification measure.
The 21st Century Road to Housing Act aims to boost home construction nationwide and limit institutional investors from buying up single-family homes. Supporters call it the most significant housing legislation in 3 decades. Liam White reporting.
A dangerous heat dome is building across 2/3 of the country this weekend, bringing triple-digit temperatures to the southwest and the Great Plains.
Forecasters warn of highs 15 to 25 degrees above normal, with little overnight relief in states stretching from Nevada to the Dakotas. Meteorologists say the oppressive pattern could linger for a week or longer. Kyle Norris reporting.
The United States launched fresh strikes on Iran early Sunday after Tehran attacked a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, sparking missile barrages across the Gulf.
Central Command said it struck roughly 140 military targets across Iran, while Tehran fired on Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, and Jordan, wounding 3 in Doha. Qatar condemned the attacks as a dangerous escalation. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Qatar's former ruler, Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, has died at 74, the country's top government body announced Sunday morning.
Sheikh Hamad led energy-rich Qatar from 1995 until his rare voluntary abdication in 2013, transforming the small nation into a wealthy global player known worldwide. Qatar declared 4 days of national mourning. Gary Beck reporting.
Israeli strikes across Gaza killed at least 6 Palestinians Sunday, including a 9-year-old girl, as ceasefire negotiations remain deadlocked over Hamas disarmament and reconstruction efforts.
A drone strike hit a blacksmith shop in Gaza City, while separate gunfire killed a child in a nearby displacement camp, officials reported Sunday. More than 1,100 Palestinians have died since October's ceasefire began, Chris Anderson reporting.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina died Saturday night at 71 following a brief and sudden illness, his office announced early Sunday.
Graham passed away hours after returning from a trip to Ukraine.
where he met with President Zelensky just one day earlier. President Trump said the two had spoken by phone that very same evening. Jessica Oakley reporting.
15 Indian tourists drowned Saturday when a speedboat capsized near Vietnam's Phu Quoc Island, tipping over less than half a mile from shore.
The boat carried 32 tourists and 4 crew when it overturned in rough seas shortly after leaving a nearby island, local witnesses said. 21 survivors were rescued as jet skis ferried them to the beach. Lawrence Keller reporting.
A masked gunman opened fire on a family barbecue in Brooklyn's Coney Island neighborhood Saturday night, wounding 8 people, including 4 children.
Police say the shooter fired into a courtyard gathering before running off, leaving a 21-year-old woman in critical condition with a gunshot wound. Mayor Zohran Mamdani said all 4 injured children are expected to survive. Kevin Sanders reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Pop quiz, hotshot. During a heat wave, what's more important, air conditioning or air guitar? Is it air conditioning? Air guitar. The answer is always air guitar.
Yeah, the answer is definitely always air guitar, regardless of what the hell's going on. That is for sure. Okay, so let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. In 1836, U.S. patent won after 9,957 unnumbered patents for locomotive wheels occurs. So there you go. That happened back in 1836. Let's continue talking here. Take a listen to this one. In 1934, Babe Ruth hits his 700th home run against Detroit. Not that he hit 700 home runs against Detroit, just kind of making sure here. In 1978, the BBC banned Sex Pistols. No One Is Innocent. In 1985, Live Aid, a rock concert in London, Philly, Moscow, and Sydney all take place. Also, what else happened? Let's see. In 2018, actress Scarlett Johansson withdraws from a transgender film role after criticism about her casting. So there you go. That's all things that happened back on the dates that I am referencing here. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today, because some interesting stuff. Back in 1940, Patrick Stewart was born, turns 86 today. Harrison Ford turns 84 today. Also, Roger McQuinn turns 84. Erno Rubik, the inventor of the Rubik's Cube, turns 82. ADT, listen to me. Now he becomes an alarm system. Cheech Marin turns 80. Louis Mandrell turned 72, and Cameron Crowe, turned 69 today. So there you go. There's some birthdays going on today. If you're taking a look at those things, that is for sure. So that's it. Let's talk real quick about some things that you ought to know. The FIFA World Cup semifinals is tomorrow. It's France versus Spain on Wednesday. Or that's better. Yeah, hold on. Tomorrow it's France versus Spain, and then on Wednesday it's England versus Argentina. So there you go. And then here's Friday's winning Mega Million numbers. Jackpot was $266 million. It was the number 2, 39, 44, 46, 56. Mega Ball was 23. And Saturday night's winning Powerball numbers were for $457 million. It was 8, 10, 14, 45, 59. Powerball was 5. Power Play was 2. And there was no jackpot winner. So tonight's jackpot climbs to $478 million. Also, the U.S. military launched another round of strikes against Iran. Night after President Trump directed the U.S. Central Command to continue operations aimed at weakening Iran's ability to attack commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. According to CENTCOM, the strikes were intended to continue degrading Iranian military capabilities and to hold Iranian forces accountable following its continued attacks and threats against civilian vessels in one of the world's most important shipping lanes. So there you go. Anyway, so that's going to sum up our time together at the top of the hour. I will be going over to, matter of fact, no, I'm not. I'm lying to you. I will not be going over to RadioBig.fm today. There will be music playing today on RadioBig.fm today because I will be gone doing reality shifts. But if you hang out here on Safety FM today, Sheldon Primus will be coming up talking about the world of safety consulting. So anyways, that's going to sum up my time. If I can leave you with some words of wisdom for today, each of us has a fire in our hearts for something. It's our goal in life to keep finding it and keep it lit. So keep that in mind. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
Finally wake up, you're just in another dream. When you finally wake up, you're just in another dream. It's a fake world.